on this. I got a fuel line that comes in, okay? Goes over, it's going to go around to my pressure regulator right there, okay? Then I'll come back over and the return line goes back to the tank. It's a return type system. What we just did, we pulled the fuel pump relay, ran the vehicle, okay? Object of the exercise, run it out of fuel. Decrease the pressure in the line. The fuel system pressure on this is supposed to be around 50 psi, roughly, okay? We ran it out of fuel, pulled the fuel pump relay, the pump can't run anymore, so now we have decreased the pressure in the line, but there is still pressure there, okay? Which is why you gotta wear those glasses, okay? The reason I had this car come in is because I knew we were gonna be a little bit pressed for time, and it's got a tap right on the fuel rail.
Take it away from me.
No.
I was about to say, what the fuck?
That's nice. Nice for Chevy.
Oh man. Shit getting crazy now.
Lefty loosey, righty tighty.
I think it's the
I heard that somewhere.
line.
So wait, what's
It's
that
the
called
other way
again?
around.
What's this called again? That thing for the fuel road?
It's a pressure tap for the rail. Where'd that pair of pliers go?
Here you go.
Right there. Until they get rid of all those. Yeah, they all that's why that's there. Sorry, all those new engines, they 4-cylinders?
What, all these?
Some of them didn't.
I didn't look, but I'm guessing. Put the fuel pump relay back in. Fuel pump relay back in.
It's on the other side. It's on the other side.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Okay. Look at those long arms.
I think you're supposed to leave it out when we test the pressure.
Bro, when it comes down to bread like that, everybody.
It's in.
The relay in?
Yes.
Okay.
Vehicle owner.
Key on, engine off.
Oh, that's a
Keep an eye on the gauge. We should get a 2-second prime out of the pump.
You ain't shit.
Just like that. Okay? So we had no pressure when we first plugged it in. Now I got pressure. I'm going to check it for leaks. Seems good. Start it up.
49. It's not supposed to go down.
Okay. No, we're not there yet. We just put a gauge on this. Basically, we've got a lot of air in the line, so you need to purge it. And that's what this button on the side is for. Okay? Take a look at the line. You'll notice we pump a lot of air through it.
No, it's turning fuel now.
Well, but when it first hit it, okay. So what did we say the running pressure was supposed to be?
You said around 50? Around 50.
Okay, so I got 45 pounds there.
That's good.
Okay? Fuel pressure regulator on the rail. If I disconnect the vacuum line, look at your fuel pressure now. Okay? We said operating pressure was around 50 pounds.
Yep.
There's your 50 pounds. Okay? I plug the regulator back in. Drops to about 45. That's normal. Shut it off. Okay, so we were sitting at 45. This is the residual pressure we were talking about. It dropped to about 36, 37.
That's good.
You let it sit there for a couple of minutes, make sure that it will retain residual pressure. This is where your hard starts come in. If that drops more than 10 psi, drops more than 10 pounds, odds are real good that you're going to have long cranking times, hard starts. Okay? Key on, engine off. Notice it jumps right up. I still get that 2-second prime. Computer's going to run the pump for 2 seconds. Gets me right back up to 45, 50 pounds.
So if it would have dropped back down, then you would have known that it's losing pressure.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
If it would have dropped back down, you would have known it's losing pressure.
Right. But remember what we said, we're going to trap the pressure between 3 points. The check valve in the pump, the fuel pump itself, the fuel injectors, and the fuel pressure regulator. Okay? It's those 3 places that are going to trap my fuel pressure. Now, everything this computer does as far as adding fuel to the car is based on there being 45 to 50 pounds of fuel pressure in this rail. Okay? When it opens the injectors to spray fuel into the cylinder, it's going to open them long enough to deliver enough fuel based on the fact that there will be 50 pounds of pressure in the rail. Now, the purpose of that fuel pressure regulator is to give it a sort of an extra shot. Okay? We spent time talking about vacuum, and this is why I wanted to do intake manifolds first. We spent some time talking about intake manifold vacuum. What happens when you open up the throttle?
You lose vacuum.
I lose vacuum. What happened when I pulled the vacuum line off the pressure regulator?
You lost vacuum.
Well, I lost vacuum, but my fuel pressure went up. Okay? So what they're doing here, when these systems first came out, they replaced carburetors. Carburetors had an accelerator pump in them. You cracked the throttle and it just sprayed some raw gas right down into the manifold. Okay? That was the purpose of this type of a pressure regulator. I crack the throttle, I lose vacuum, the pressure in the rail jumps. Everything that the computer does as far as delivering fuel is based on there being 45, 50 pounds of fuel in the rail. Okay, if that pressure, while I'm stepping on the throttle, goes up to 52, 53 pounds, it's getting a little bit of extra enrichment. It's going to make the acceleration that much better. Okay, now, in the returnless fuel systems, the one without the pressure regulator on the rail, you only have one fuel line coming up, and we will get a look at them. On those systems, it's programmed into the computer, such and such a throttle opening, dump this much fuel. Okay? I don't need that extra boost because they're having the computer make up for it. Okay? And it'll make up for it for the on time of the injector. Okay? But these are the things that you're looking for. Operating pressure, residual pressure. Now, the one thing that we didn't do was deadhead pressure, and I'm not going to do that to somebody's car because this has got more than a couple of miles on it, and you can damage a fuel pump. However, glasses please. However, the fuel volume test that we talked about, the way that you would run the fuel volume, I told you, they were talking in terms of 40 gallons an hour, something like that. I told you the volume test that they're going to have you run, will be in the neighborhood of 1 pint in 15 seconds, something like that. The way that works, what you will do, bleed this line until there's no air in it. You'll take this line, start the car up, run it, and basically run the fuel into a container until there's no air in this line. Put this line in a graduated container, something that will hold a pint or a quart or whatever they're asking you to. Start the car up, run it, hit the bypass button. Your pressure will drop to about 20 psi, okay, and then for the 15 seconds or whatever it is that they give you, you'll see if you can fill that 1 pint or 1 quart or whatever. 99.9% of the time, unless you actually do have a problem with the fuel pump, 99.9% of the time, you're going to find that you get a pint, in 5, 6 seconds, 7 seconds, something like that. It never, I can't remember testing a good pump that took the whole 15 seconds to give me a pint or a quart, whatever the volume was. We start this up again? Give you an idea what it looks like. Okay, we're running fuel in there. Now the engine's running on 20 psi. Okay, shut it off.
That doesn't starve the motor of gasoline when you're doing that?
Look, thing's just idling. These things will run on 5 pounds of fuel pressure. You need the 50 psi
When you're open throttle.
okay, when you're driving down the highway, when you're demanding power, speed, torque out of the engine. These things they'll idle on damn near anything. When you pull a fuel pump relay, when you pull a fuel pump fuse, you'll be amazed how long they sit there and idle before they actually stall. You guys, can we pull the relay on this?
Again?
Please. It's out. Start it up, let it run. That didn't stall until it got down to damn near 0 pounds of pressure. Okay? They'll run on damn near nothing. As far as idling.
Right.
Doesn't take a whole lot. Questions about the basic operation?
Do you have to depressurize the system before you do that?
Absolutely. That's why I had you pull the relay before I connected it, and that's why I had you pull the relay right now. It says we're down to 0 pressure, but I guarantee you, we open that up, we're going to get fuel. Okay? Even though it's reading 0, we're going to get fuel. Even if it's just the fuel in the line. All right?
Gas